Welcome to the Crewcast, the Crew's live podcast about video games and all things Crew. Join us and many of your favorite crew members as we review games, talk about the new Crew series, answer your questions, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Crewcast.
Welcome to the Crewcast episode 9 for June 15th, 2013. Today we have Boz, Gizmo, Kama and myself, and we're going to skip all of the news segments and go straight into the main segment, which is E3.
Yeah, so the mighty E3, I guess it's really just ending now, but it started, I believe it was Monday, wasn't it, of this week?
Monday.
So for those who don't know, E3 is the Electronic Entertainment Expo. It's been going on for a long time. Traditionally, it's always been more of a thing that's supposed to be more for people in the industry. But over the years, more and more fans go, and I went probably, I don't know when it was. It was during, I think, when, what was the one game? Daikatana was being developed. So, which was a complete flop. But that was when it was in Atlanta. I think it was the last time it was in Atlanta. As always now, it's pretty much over in Los Angeles. So all the big game companies are there, all the software, hardware developers, be it console people or be it even devices to connect to PCs and consoles. So like the Logitechs, Razer, all those types of people were there. But obviously, the big thing was the big three, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, revealing their things. So let's start off small. Let's talk about Nintendo. Because they really didn't do a conference like Sony and Microsoft did. They pretty much just did a pre-recorded press thing that was played for the fans. They didn't actually have a physical presence there, on the stage showing products and having people there. So, really, it's exciting, I guess, if you're a Nintendo diehard fan, because they announced, and I'm going to just rattle off all the titles that I'm aware of, and you guys can add to this. But they announced Mario 3D World, Mario Kart 8, Bayonetta 2, Waker, Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, and Pikmin 3. So, all pretty much exclusive Nintendo content. Obviously, some of the other companies are going to be developing games that are going to be on all the consoles. But the Nintendo conference was more focused, really, their little video, on their exclusive content and these titles. Anything here excite you guys? Anything I missed? Not myself, very excited about the whole Nintendo thing.
Wind Waker. Seeing it be like HD is pretty cool. I was looking forward to hopefully seeing a new Zelda game, but maybe next time.
Well, I mean, one of them kind of is a new one.
Yeah, the 3DS one. I mean, it looks pretty cool, but it's a 3DS one. I mean like a main Zelda game.
Not now. Maybe at some point.
It will be a new Zelda game. They've said they're making one, but like I was talking about like gameplay or some more like information about it.
Yeah, for me, I mean, the thing I would have been hoping to see would have been Metroid, but no Metroid announcements.
I think the people who are doing the Donkey Kong game are the Metroid people, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe they are.
Isn't the Super Smash Bros? That's Nintendo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Mega Man finally in the Super Smash Bros?
Yeah, Mega Man's in it.
Woo!
Yeah.
And from Animal Crossing, there's a character from Animal Crossing in it as well.
Does it really matter?
How does that make sense? He's gonna kill them with his net.
I mean, Super Smash Bros. 4, that's what I see on the list, that's what it's called. Not the most exciting name.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm not a huge Nintendo fan right now, especially with the way they are treating people on YouTube when it comes to, people making Let's Plays and things. But nothing here. I don't have a Wii U. I mean, I have a Wii, but we hardly ever play it. But nothing is really drawing me to get a Wii U. Even though a lot of the GameStop type places now are like giving you $50 credit if you bring your Wii in to then use that to get a Wii U. I just don't. I don't know. I mean, none of this really interests me in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I think I'm the same on that.
All right, well, let's move on now and let's talk about the final two, the big two, our new console people. And let's start off with Microsoft since they were really the first one to open the conference. Now, we already knew quite a bit about the Xbox One. We had a lot of nagging things that were worrisome, and sadly, they really didn't clarify any of that during the actual conference presentation that they made. Now, there has been some stuff that we'll probably talk about that's occurred during the E3 after, where media have been interviewing different people and talking about things. But let's just kind of go through. And I think since there's a lot of stuff going on, we'll just talk about them as I bring them up, and you guys add things if I miss anything. But I'm going to kind of go through in the order that they were kind of revealed. So they talked about some 360 stuff first. Metal Gear Solid 5. They showed the trailer.
Yes! Metal Gear Solid 5. Yes!
Open world, real time.
Yes!
More stealth aspects, diverse locations in the game. Any other thoughts on that one, Giz?
Oh God. I know, like last time we kind of talked about the kind of Kiefer Sutherland voicing it, but I think he did a good job. He sounds pretty cool. But the game, like just being open, it kind of remakes the whole Metal Gear Solid game. So it's not kind of the same old thing. So it still has the kind of espionage side to it and kind of hiding, kind of attacking in secret thing, but it's different. So it looks so good. And the characters as well, the kind of a character reveal. Although one character, Piper might not be too thrilled about if you saw it.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have to wait and see after she watches this if she gives us any feedback. I don't know if she really watched much of the E3 footage, knowing that she wasn't going to be here for this recording. But yeah, it looks really good. Now, another thing they did, and I found this one interesting, is they updated the 360 itself. It's smaller and it looks more like the Xbox One. Um, and it's available now, which I don't know if it's hit retail outlets, but I'm sure like all the Microsoft stores and the Microsoft website it can be ordered from. But I was really surprised. Did that catch you guys off guard that they would bring out a new 360?
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I the only one who thinks that the 360 looks better than the Xbox One?
I think the black model does. The newer one, I think it's got better curves. The white one that I originally had, I wasn't a huge fan. I didn't think it looked that great. I mean, it looked okay. I like the black one better, but it looks like they did it mainly just to make it look like the Xbox One. But I'm not a huge fan of the Xbox One look, but it's okay. All right, another thing they announced was starting July 1st, Xbox Live Gold members will get 2 free games a month. Now, listen to these first two: Assassin's Creed 2 and Halo 3. Now, big titles, but old titles, so kind of depressing for me. I would have liked to have seen their first 2 free games be some things that are actually maybe a little bit more current. But I think this is trying to answer the PlayStation Network subscription that the PS3 has, because they give you basically multiple games every month, and they also give you pretty deep discounts on other titles. So I think they're trying to stay on pace. I guess this is good for people who don't have Assassin's Creed 2 and Halo 3, but and it's nice to see they're going to do it. But I think they should maybe have started off with a couple stronger titles, maybe something from maybe 6 months ago instead of. I mean, Assassin's Creed 2, how long ago was that?
It's a long time.
It's a really good game, though.
Yeah.
Halo 3 as well.
Yeah, and they're both good games, just they're old. So, but I think most people who are paying gold probably have, if those are games they like, they probably already have them. Now, they did announce a new exclusive thing for the 360, World of Tanks, which is a 15 versus 15 tank warfare game that's going to come out this summer. Did you guys like World of Tanks? Interested in it? Or meh?
Isn't there a game like that already existing?
It's on PC. It's a free-to-play game on PC.
Yeah, it looks good, but
it's more meh for me.
Yeah, I
if you
mean,
like tanks,
I think it was free, wasn't it?
I think it
I think
was,
it's
yeah.
free for gold at least. So I mean, it'd be fun maybe to play if I don't see me wanting to get on that and play it with random people. So if we had more crew with 360s, it may not be as bad. Jump on and have some fun. Maybe get some fans or some friends of the crew together. So you never know. Now, there's still going to be a lot of 360 games come out this year. I mean, this by no means is all, but I think uh, they definitely wanted to now switch over to everything we're talking about now is going to be Xbox One. So they announced a new franchise called Rise, Son of Rome. Uh, Now they showed some footage of this, and it looked beautiful uh, visually. What did you guys think of the game, though?
I think it's a good concept. Like, because you don't really see that many types of games like that, but I'll have to look into it more. Like, see more gameplay from it to give it a better chance.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it definitely looks cool.
what I saw of it, it seemed, it was definitely really neat, but it seemed, major cutscene-ish for a lot of it. But I mean, it looked cool. I don't think it's a game that I'd probably end up playing. It just isn't my cup of tea. But it did look beautiful, and of course, this is an exclusive. All right. Next, they mentioned Rare's title. They announced Killer Instinct. This is going to be a game that'll be a digital release on day one of the Xbox One, and it'll be free to play. You can only play one character in the free version, Jago. With others are unlockable, and for some price we have no idea yet. Did you guys
Yeah,
like this one?
I don't quite kind of get it how it's kind of free, but it's not. Like saying, oh, it's free, but you get one character. But that's not really free, is it?
Well, I
It's
mean,
kind of like
yeah, go ahead.
microtransaction type deal.
How much are all the characters going to cost? If each character is like £5 each, that would be a bit ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I don't think this is much different than even like Team Fortress, where people are buying hats. I mean, obviously this is characters, but I mean, it's a fighting game. This is more of a, I guess, what would you? I mean, I'd compare it to Street Fighter and Soul Calibur and those types of games.
Yeah.
Wasn't too exciting for me because I'm not a huge fan of
No,
those kind of games. I mean, it
I
looked
don't.
beautiful, but it's free.
I don't see it doing too well because of the whole buying characters thing.
All right, so none of us really that excited about Killer Instinct. Okay, Sunset Overdrive was announced by Insomniac Games. Now, this is an open world. We're hearing that open world a lot.
Yeah,
Mm.
open world games are definitely like really good.
Now, this is a real time shooter, cartoony in its graphics, and the guns are powered by soda.
What?
What did you guys think of that one?
What?
It reminded me a bit like Borderlands.
I didn't see this one, but soda. What?
Yep.
I want to get this game.
Yeah, I mean, Borderlands, it looked like parkour and Dead Rising. Um, it was weird. I mean, it looked very parkourish with the characters leaping around and jumping and everything, but it looked cool. This would be one I'd probably want to try like a demo of before I make a purchase on it.
Oh, is this the one in the trailer where the guy's sliding down the rope thing and the guy throws him a gun and he shoots a guy?
I'm not sure about
It
that.
is. It is. I'm
Is it?
watching it now. Yeah,
I mean, it looked
that was pretty
cool,
cool.
but again, this is a game that's like probably wouldn't be high on my list. I'd probably like to try it before I even think about it. All right, so Danny probably was really excited about this next one. They talked about, or at least what they did on stage, but they had Forza Motorsport 5 being shown, and on the stage, coming up out of the ground, was a McLaren P1.
I don't know what that is.
It's a car.
It's a beautiful car.
Okay.
Probably very expensive. Um, Kama has two. a red one and a blue one.
Obviously.
But they talked about on this one, and again, these are all Xbox One's titles that we've been talking about since Rise. They're going to be using the cloud power of Microsoft's new servers to help with the AI, have the game learn your decisions and how you race and play or whatever. And your personalized AL or AI learns all the specifics on how you drive and can play while you're gone to earn you credits. That doesn't make any sense to me. Sounds like loot farming that you'd hear about in an RPG that gets people banned for doing it.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the cloud, but I just don't understand the whole thing. Letting it play while I'm offline to earn credit.
I suppose if it's like not a lot of credit, it's like really nerfed. So while you're earning it, it's not a lot and it doesn't do much.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like, okay, now the people who just leave their console, like, in this, like, they got to put restrictions on it because you could just, like, constantly have this thing earning you credits. So I'm sure there's going to be a limit. It seemed interesting. I mean, I'm not a racing car fan. I mean, for me, the game has to have weapons on the cars and different things. Otherwise, I'm not a big fan of them. Blur, is more of a realistic car, but the physics aren't that great. And, of course, it has crazy weapons, so I like Blur. But it looked interesting, but I did really enjoy seeing the McLaren P1. All right, moving on to a game that's near and dear to our hearts, and it will be coming out on the Xbox One, Minecraft. Bigger world. What else did it have, Danny?
More multiplayer, so like I think multiplayer is going to be ramped up so you can have more players in a world at the same time. A bigger map.
So trying to get closer to the PC, but I think it's never going to reach the PC level. And most people are, I think, hoping that they'll be able to someday play the console version with the PC people. I don't think that'll ever happen. But, I was hoping to see it maybe appear on other consoles, but no one else announced any Minecraft for no version for the Nintendo Wii U, which I think with the little console controller with the screen on it, that could make like your inventory in Minecraft much easier to deal with, where you could just keep your inventory on the little handheld and then have the game up on the screen. But definitely, there's going to be some people wanting to play Minecraft on the Xbox. I know we have fans that watch our videos that can't play the PC version and only can play on the Xbox. If they're going to be getting Xbox Ones, obviously they're going to be getting Minecraft for it. Now, they did talk about another title that called Project Spark. And this one had like a world editor in the game that allowed you to create your worlds quickly. You could use Smart Glass, which is you're using your tablet or your phone to like a God mode. You can also use regular controllers, but you can jump into third person and fight off enemies, invasions, and alter the earth. But it has the level editor, and you can share stuff between your friends, like your creations. It looked more like a technology demo almost. It really didn't look like a real game yet.
Yeah.
It was cool looking, but didn't really thrill me too much. All right, so let's pick up the pace here a little bit. They did talk a little bit about Smart Glass. Can sync with your Xbox One for finding games, stats, checking what like DVR clips that you might have, which is kind of like your recorded gameplay, because the Xbox One supposedly allows you to record your gameplay. They also showed Upload Studio, which lets you record, edit, commentate, and then share it on the cloud. But what I found more interesting, and this was a good big one of the biggest ones on this realm for me, they partnered with Twitch, so now you can broadcast any of your games on the Xbox One to your Twitch channel.
That is cool.
I hope it has configuration on it, though, so we can set it to get the best quality and things like that. It'd be nice, too, if you could overlay chat, but I doubt that'll happen.
It's cool, but think how many more Let's Plays there are going to be now.
I mean, anybody can do Twitch now on the PC. I mean, there's people who do it, but to break out, I mean, we're a very small Twitch person. In the grand scheme of things, we're not partnered. we got 1,500 maybe followers, probably like 13 or 14. So I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's the best way to share your footage and play, share stuff. I just think it makes it nice that we don't have to worry about does this game support it. It's built into the console, so you can just stream. So I thought that was great. I think that'll come in handy with the crew, that we'll be able to use that feature. They've increased your friends list on Xbox. They're getting rid of points for real currency, which we talked about before. And I guess the biggest thing when it came to the gold is they said that it can be utilized by other people in the house when you're not online. So it's not like before where if you had it, like if I wanted to let Lizzie play on the Xbox and have her own achievements, I'd have to buy an Xbox gold account for her to be able to play online. So now I think people in the family can all have their own account and be able to play online. It sounds like. Who knows? Because there's a lot of things that could change on that. So I thought that was nice. Sadly, you still have to have the gold to be able to do stuff like Netflix, which I think is crazy. Sony's got them beat on that front. I mean, you can just buy a PS3 or a PS4 and just log right into Netflix. With Microsoft, you have to pay a monthly fee to be able to have that privilege, and you're already paying for Netflix anyway. So that was kind of all the quick announcements that they ran through. Okay, Dead Rising 3 was announced. This one should be interesting for people. So this can be, again, open world, hundreds of weapons, zombies. Zombies can hang on to your vehicle, try to drag you out. This will also utilize smart glass for calling in artillery support, and it will be out this holiday season. It looked really good. I'm definitely going to be playing that one. Did you guys like what you saw from Dead Rising 3, or?
Looked like they changed it a lot.
It's a new character, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's set like 10 years or something after the number 2?
Yeah, something like that.
The bombs went off or something, so like they tried to destroy the city, but it didn't really go to plan. Which is cool. And
also then EA came out and did a little talk there during the Microsoft thing. They showed Battlefield 4. It was the funniest part. I don't know if you guys caught it. Is the video didn't play right. It was like not playing, and then there was like no sound or whatever. No one could figure out anything. And an EA guy looked like he just was like, he walked off almost, and they kind of pushed him back out when they got it working. But it was kind of a very uncomfortable moment, I think, for the EA guy. I enjoy anything that makes EA squirm. One thing they did announce on the Battlefield 4 that I hate is first DLC will be on the Xbox before any other consoles. It's like they haven't even released the game, and now they're already talking about DLC.
They never learn.
It's EA though.
All right, now Danny, prepare yourself. This is you here. Halo 2014 coming out in 2014. Dedicated servers, 60 frames per second, cloud gaming being utilized. Tell us your thoughts.
The trailer that they showed was... I didn't even realise it was Halo until right towards the end. And then, the hood got blown off and Master Chief's head was there and he had the tag in his hand. But, I'm interested to see how they can go from Halo 4 and the story in Halo 4 and change it up and do something different, because certain things happened in Halo 4 that won't be around in the newest one, and it's going to be a little bit strange. But I'm definitely excited for Halo 4, Halo 5, if it's going to be called Halo 5 to come out.
Yeah, I would assume it's going to be called Halo 5, but you never know what they're going to come up with.
Halo 6, jumping forward in time.
Why does Master Chief need to have like a hood? I mean, he's wearing a helmet.
Yeah, that I didn't understand. Whether it's something to do with the story, or like if it's set
fashion statement
in the future. I have no idea.
Maybe he's cold.
I thought it was like a Star Wars game when I first saw it.
Yeah. All right, so to wrap up what they talked about, Xbox One launches November for $4.99 US, also $4.99 in euros in Europe, and I believe $4.29 in the UK, £429. So you guys aren't getting much of a break on price. I mean, this is kind of the price range that I expected. You know, it's when they first come out, they're always around this price. It is kind of one of the things that people have to realize is you guys have to have your VAT prices added in.
Yeah.
Uh, Whereas here in the States, they don't add that kind of stuff in. I mean, you'll go when you buy it, you'll have all your taxes are, thrown in depending on where you buy it and who you buy from. So it isn't apples to apples, comparison. But in general, I mean, what did you guys think? Now, I don't want to make like judgment calls on who won between the big three. Save that. We're going to ask that last. But what did you think about Microsoft and what they showed and the Xbox itself? Take it, Gizmo.
It was all right. I mean, it was good, but they still aren't really the greatest. Like, obviously, if you look in the community and stuff, they're getting a lot of hate at the minute. But it was all right. I mean, they showed games, which is, I mean, what it's all about, really, isn't it?
Yep.
People want to see the games. They showed games. I mean, hey, the games look pretty cool.
Okay. Now remember too, save judgment on who you think won, and if you were to buy one, if you're going to buy one or would buy one, which one? That'll be at the end. But your thoughts on Microsoft?
Um, I I mean, I didn't see all of it. I can say that. But from what I saw, well, they tried their best, I would say.
All right, Danny. What do you got to say about Microsoft?
Well, obviously, there's a few things they didn't show or didn't talk about. But the amount of games that they showed and the games that they did show it was surprisingly good. I thought so. I thought they did well with their whole presentation.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it was a more polished presentation. It was quicker. I mean, they didn't spend as much time. I mean, they did you watch these things, and as you're a gamer, you're just like, you want to see the games. But I mean, you care about games, but a lot of times, these things, they go through these long speeches, and you bring people out. You have to applaud for them, and it's uncomfortable sometimes. And I think Microsoft had a much snappier pace. They introduced a lot of titles that obviously I was interested in. Um, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be not exclusive, so it really wouldn't matter which console you go with. But I thought they did a really good job. I think theirs was the more polished and more snappy and interesting of them. All right, so go ahead, Danny.
I was going to say also there was no Connect talk as well,
Thank God.
which I was surprised at.
Well, the Kinect does come with the system. I mean, they definitely did not talk about DRM, always online, privacy concerns, use games. I mean, they avoided pretty much all of that. And we'll talk about that briefly at the end because obviously the next section is going to kind of lead into that. But let's talk about Sony. Um, Initially, they talked about the PS3, PSP, and Vita. And one of the things was they mentioned that Walking Dead's coming to the Vita with the 400 Days DLC. Giz, I know you're a big Walking Dead fan.
Yeah, this looks cool. I think it's a season 1 DLC. It also leads into season 2, and that's going to be released. So it looks cool. I think it's one episode, but it's a bit longer than one episode would be. I think it's based on like 5 different characters.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah. I mean, definitely that looks good. We're going to kind of zip through some of this. Obviously, a huge game that I'm a big fan of, which comes out tomorrow as we're recording this. But when this airs on Saturday, it came out, I think the day before. But The Last of Us. Everybody's loving this game. Everybody plays it. Everybody who reviews it. I mean, not much else to say except that's out now. They showed a Rain trailer, which I wasn't that thrilled either way with that. I don't know if anyone was a big fan of Rain, and if so, speak up. Okay. Beyond Two Souls was shown. Again, this was that one I believe that Piper would probably like because it looked.
This one looks cool.
It had Ellen Page playing the voice, and they kind of motion capped the actors, and Daniel Defoe. It looks like an Alias game where a girl is kind of brought in at a very young age to the CIA or the NSA or whatever it was, trained to be kind of a spy, assassin, and sent out on a mission, and you control her. It looked really cool, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. That's a PS3. I'm going to rattle off two more here, and then you guys can talk about them if you want to. Gran Turismo 6 and Batman Arkham Origins. Danny, I know you want to probably say something about Batman.
I'm really excited for Batman just because the last game was amazing, and then this is a different studio, but they've said that they're going to stick to the formula of the past two Batman games. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen within the story of the new game.
Batman dies.
Yeah, it looked really cool. Now, what was kind of funny too is Sony showed the exclusive content, and at least one of the things was the old '60s cartoon or TV show Batman costume.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the guy from Sony was like, "I remember that one," because obviously he is old enough to remember the original TV series. So now it gets a little bit more interesting. The PS4. All we've seen up until now has been is the controller. We finally saw the console. It looks like the Xbox One, but smaller, and turned at an angle.
Mechanics as well. I think it looks better than Xbox One.
I think they both look about the same to me. I mean, I think it's probably it's smaller, and I think the angle makes it look a little bit nicer. So I give the edge on looks aesthetically to the PS4, but very, very similar, which is kind of funny to see people complaining about the Xbox One, me one of them, being so square, but then some of those people just loving the PS4, but it really isn't that different looking than the Xbox One. It's just really funny that both companies kind of went in the same direction.
Kind of makes you think, did they kind of iron each other somehow?
Now, did you guys, we're talking about games now for the PS4, did you see the Ready at Dawn new IP exclusive to the PS4? It looked beautiful, the graphics on that game.
I saw bits of it. I didn't quite catch all of it, but...
Oh, The Order, 1886.
Yeah.
That one. Oh, yeah. That looked really cool. Yeah, that looks really cool. Interesting to know about like what kind of the story is to it as well, like how it kind of is alternate, like where does it alternate and stuff, and then what are the monsters?
Werewolves were one of the monsters, but it's a Victorian setting of London with guns and everything. It looked really cool.
Yeah, this looks really cool.
They also showed Killzone. Was it Killzone Shadowfall? Is that what it's called?
I think so.
The trailer for that, kind of a jungle environment, looked really nice. They showed Infamous Second Son trailer.
New character.
Yep. Which they both looked really nice. And then they did something that I thought was really probably the best thing they did, or I guess like most impressive thing for me, is they started going off on talking about the indie stuff. So they mentioned that the indie game Transistor will be coming to the PlayStation 4, but then they also mentioned that you'll be able to self-publish, so indie developers can self-publish on the PS4, and they showed off and actually brought on the stage developers for these titles that I'm naming and had them all playing on separate screens, big screens. Don't Starve, Mercenary Kings, Octodad, Switchblade Monkeys, Raised Dead, Outlast, New and Tasty, and Galaxy, all coming to the PlayStation 4.
What's New and Tasty?
I'm not sure on that one. I was hoping that when I took all my notes that I'd write more stuff down, but I didn't.
Is that the new Abe game?
I thought the Abe, is that what it's called? Because I know that Abe game is going to be a remake.
Yeah.
So these are all, in some cases bigger people than you would think is indie, but obviously Don't Starve, Most of these are smaller indie devs, and they've all found it very difficult to move their titles over to the Xbox because it's a very expensive process. And when you have to push an update out on the Xbox, it costs quite a bit of money, something like $30,000-$40,000 to push an update. That's one reason why you don't see lots of Microsoft or Minecraft updates. They kind of push them further apart. But I think it's really smart to encourage the indie developers, and I think this will be great for the people who don't play a lot of PC games because their PCs aren't good enough to bring these indie titles to the consoles. I probably prefer to play a lot of these things on the PC, but I think it's really cool that they're going to work with the indie developers.
Yeah, definitely.
They did talk about Diablo 3, and they're going to have some exclusive PlayStation 4 items for Diablo 3. I think a lot of people are saying that Diablo 3 almost was planned to be a console game because they say it actually plays better on the console, feels more intuitive than on the PC. So we'll have to see on that. Then here's some big ones that Danny I know is going to get excited here. Final Fantasy Versus 13 and Final Fantasy 14 will be coming to the PS4, and Kingdom Hearts 3. But I will add that's not an exclusive. That will be on the Xbox One also. They showed.
It's interesting to see like where Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to go with kind of the universe and stuff, because obviously the license and stuff has kind of grown since Kingdom Hearts 2. So it's really interesting to see where they're going to take the game and what worlds are going to go to.
Yeah, I'm not a Final Fantasy fan. I'm not a Kingdom Hearts fan, so none of these really interested me. But I know there's a lot of people that went crazy on the Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah,
Hammer was in mumble when I heard that got announced.
And it was like a little girl.
Yeah.
Now, if that would have been a PS4 exclusive, Danny, you would have had to maybe rethink possibly your direction on console favorites. Not that you've chosen yet, but
I even said to Giz that could possibly push me to get a PS4.
well, if you didn't want a PS4, you don't have to now because it's not going to be an exclusive. Now, they did also demo Assassin's Creed 4, and I believe there's another Assassin's Creed Vita title in the works also. But not a lot exclusive coming on that aspect. So another thing that's, again, not an exclusive, but there is some exclusivity here. Elder Scrolls Online coming to the PS4. The PS4 will have an exclusive beta before it's available on the Xbox One and PS4. So if you've got a PS4, you can get an exclusive early access beta. It'll be interesting to see how Elder Scrolls transitions to an online, I'm a big fan of the Elder Scroll RPGs, single player. But it's like, if this is something that I can play on the PS4, but not have to subscribe, like World of Warcraft, maybe I'll actually try it.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how Elder Scrolls works in multiplayer.
Yeah, so they make great RPGs, so it'll be interesting to see what they come out with. They also had a game that people, when they saw the trailer, people were like really confused about what it might be. And it ended up, they were thinking Fallout.
Oh yeah, this is the.
Then it was Mad Max.
Yeah.
Not much to say for me on that. It could be interesting. It could be a mess.
I mean, Fallout is kind of based on Mad Max, really. I mean, it's not going to be a Fallout game, but it might be good.
So it'll be interesting to see. Now, this is where Sony kind of, in a sense, laid the hammer down, threw down the gauntlets, fired the first shot, the opening salvo, or whatever.
Yeah, shots fired.
PlayStation 4 will not have DRM. You won't have to have it connected every 24 hours to be able to play your single-player games. And there will be no forcing of games being sold through other channels. You can give the game to your friends if you want to. Let them play it. They'll give it back to you. You can sell it if you want, however you want. Pretty much the way everything's been currently.
The video about it.
Yeah.
That was the biggest troll against Xbox.
That's all I have to say for that.
How you share the games. An instructional video.
So, I mean, that had the crowd going wild because, as has been said, the Xbox One will require you to have it connect every 24 hours to even be able to play single player games. If you're going to sell your games, you have to, if you're going to like give a game to a friend or whatever, even if it's you're selling it to him or giving it to him, he has to be in your Xbox friends list for at least 30 days. You can only do it once. Um, if you want to sell it, like on eBay, I think that'll be restricted. You're going to have to go through proper channels. Now, maybe eBay will become a partner and allow you to sell stuff through Microsoft's thing, but there's a lot of worries that this is going to inflate the prices of used games. Time will tell. I think Microsoft's going to maybe have to rethink the policy somewhat because of the negativity they're getting now, and Sony's basically slapped them right in the face there.
It's kind of ridiculous. The one guy was asked, the Xbox guy was asked or something in an interview, like about the online thing, and he kind of said, "Well, we have a console for that. We have the Xbox 360, so buy that instead."
Yeah,
As if they really have no respect for the fans.
That video got taken down and has had to been respread by people because Microsoft and Viacom claimed copyright infringement or whatever on that to get it taken down, but it keeps getting respread.
It's going to get respread. They don't understand that the internet is a big power. Like, when we combine together, like, voices can be heard.
Basically, what Giz is referring to, if it didn't ring home, is an executive from Microsoft was being interviewed by a news source and questioned about the people who don't have always-on connections or, trouble with connections maybe going down off and on, or just want to play single-player games and not worry about being online. He basically just said, we have something for that if that's what you want, and it's the 360. The interviewer was not as direct as he could have been, because I would have been like, so you're saying if you want to play next-gen games, single player, not worry about being online, buy a PS4. I mean, basically, the Microsoft guy said if you want to play the new titles, you're going to have to live with their DRM. If you don't want to, then just play with the 360. Really major snafu. Should have never said it. Microsoft's definitely doing damage control. Now, Sony did do a few things a little different. Now, they did mention that the PlayStation Plus, which is a subscription that you can pay on the PS3 right now, and you get discounts on games, you get free games every month. Microsoft's kind of emulating that, but you don't need the PS Plus on your PS3 to play online games. If you have games that are multiplayer, you can just play them. You don't have to pay anything. But that'll hold true on the PS3, but on the PS4, you will have to have a PlayStation Plus account in order to play online games. So they are moving more towards the Microsoft side of things for that. Now, they will, like Microsoft, the PS Plus is one price, and it works on your PlayStation 3, your PlayStation 4, and your Vita, if you have all three of those items. You don't have to have a separate one for each. Just like Microsoft said, your Xbox Gold account will work on your Xbox 360 and your Xbox One. Along those lines, PS Plus people will get Drive Club for free at launch, and Don't Starve and Outlast will also be on the coming out first year on PS Plus for free. Now, lastly, game-wise, they showed a preview of Destiny. So, Danny, I know this is going to be near and dear to your heart because who makes Destiny, developer-wise?
Bungie.
Who are the original Halo guys. I think this looked like Halo and maybe like Borderlands and some stuff all mixed together.
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
It looks good. It definitely looks a lot Halo-ish, but I can expect that coming from Bungie. But it definitely looks really interesting. I'd like to see more on the game and more about how it is and what the world's like that you're in.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of painful watching these two guys play it. Sometimes I think they should just show gameplay, but in all these like sample gameplays throughout the week from all the people, some of the developers that were just like, trying to act like they were like in the gaming moment, it made me cringe a few times. But it looked really cool. It looked like Halo somewhat. but it had some interesting little differences, and I think it'll be an interesting title. I definitely think I'll want to play it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the last big shot that Sony had a chance to fire, and I'm sitting there listening to this one live, and the wife's near me, and she's not paying attention. She could care less. And I'm like, oh, they're going to announce a price, and I'm thinking it's going to be $499, the same as the Xbox One. Then I'm like, oh, if they're smart, maybe they'll make it like 450 or 450. Make it $50 cheaper, or 449.99. It's like they should make it $399, but they'll never go that low. But they did. PlayStation 4, $399.99.
Shots fired.
Definitely.
Yeah,
$100 cheaper.
You could hear the crowd like difference in when the Xbox announced the price and then PS4 announced the price.
So yeah, I mean the crowd went crazy on this. I mean, people were just $100 cheaper. All the screams of Sony wins, Sony wins. No DRM. You can sell your games. I mean, these were all very smart points for Sony. I mean, these were very, very, very good moves for them. I'm trying to remember what were the prices for the EU. I didn't write that down.
I think it was $349 for UK, but I can't remember the Europe.
I think it was $399 as well.
Yeah, I think it's $399 in Europe, $349 in the UK. So I mean, big drop in price compared to it. So that's kind of the close for Sony. Again, trying not to do too much comparison yet. What did you think of Sony, Giz, when it came to their presentation?
I felt they had a lot more respect for the fans and the consumers. Really, they didn't treat us as if like, oh, we have to do this. But I think the games were cool. Obviously, the pricing definitely is a plus. I think they did well.
Danny?
I thought they did well. Definitely the price helps a lot, and some of the games that they announced, I got really excited about, like Kingdom Hearts and the Destiny stuff was really good. So yeah, I thought they did well.
What'd you think, Kama?
I mean, with all the stuff that the PS4 showed, the games, no DMR, no being online and stuff, I think they did a good job with that.
Yeah, I think Sony did a good job myself, but I think Sony adjusted what they were probably going to do based off Microsoft's tipping their hat early before E3 about DRM and all that stuff. I think because of that storm of drama that was surrounding the Xbox One leading up to E3, I think Sony was kind of played up the whole no DRM, no always online, even though maybe they were thinking some of the same things, because the DRM stuff is more coming supposedly from the publishers. And I think Sony adjusted smartly because it helped them. I thought their demos were more boring. I didn't. They had some good games. I think Microsoft did a better demonstration of the games and stuff in a shorter period. They packed more into it, so it wasn't quite as boring. But I think Sony definitely did very well. The pricing, the no DRM, the no always online, being able to give your games away if you want or sell them, those are huge, huge. The price is probably the biggest thing. It's $100. Uh, I think the biggest thing will be which one's actually available first, because I don't think that Sony's given an official date yet. So it may be more at Christmas, and Microsoft might be first to market even by a few weeks, which could be a boost. So let's talk. Basically, who you think won out of the big three, and if you're going to buy a console, or even if you weren't, which one would you buy? So, Kama, what do you think?
Out of the three, I think the PS4 won because they have the better things. No DRM, no being online. I like more of the PS3 games than of the Xbox games, so that's a point for them too. Then the price, obviously. But if I had to buy one of them, I'd probably buy the Wii U because they had the most games that took my interest.
Interesting. What about you guys?
Hands down, Sony for me, just because of the sheer respect they have over Microsoft for the fans.
So Sony won, and that's what you would buy? Is that what you're saying?
I would definitely buy a PS4 over an Xbox One. I don't like the idea of like the whole Connect thing, the whole always on 24 hours thing. It seems completely bonkers to me.
Okay. Danny?
Well, Xbox had a lot of games that they showed and a lot of good games that they showed. But for me, PlayStation won, just because the whole being able to sell your games if you want to sell your games. The games that they did show, I got really excited about. Yeah, they were a lot cleaner with their presentation. I think.
Which
Still
one would
gonna
you
buy
buy?
an Xbox One though.
I'm still on the fence of which one I would buy.
Oh.
I'm not sure yet which one I would buy.
Interesting. All right, well, I'm going to go against the grain. I do think Sony won the conference, but I don't think it's like a major victory for Sony because it's more the people who follow this kind of stuff heavily, whereas the mass consumers don't. And it's going to come down to marketing, I think, and basically who's there first. Obviously, once both are there, people are going to look at price, and it's going to be hard to justify. But I think Microsoft's going to make some adjustments to certain things. Sony won, but if I could only buy one, I'm going to buy both. But if I could only buy one, I'd buy the Xbox One. And that's mainly because I don't see the DRM thing sticking, but I don't think it's that big a deal. It's no different than Steam right now. The only difference that I have is that Steam at least gives us really cheap discounts on stuff and good deals. I don't think Microsoft's going to like when Halo 5 comes out. I don't think they're going to say, Danny, you can buy Halo 5 at the store for $59.99, or you can download it, get it instantly, and start playing now for $49.99. I think it's going to be the exact same price, be it digital or be it box. And I think that's what sucks about online. And I think that's going to be the case with Sony too. If you buy the digital method, it's going to still be the same price. And I think they should definitely change that. But always online, it's like, come on, you're going to have that thing connected just like your computer. Does it really matter if it has to check in every once in a while? The rare times when your internet's really like out is lower, so I don't think it's as big a deal as people are making it out to be. And I think the selling of stuff, they're going to adjust that policy. Um, so it sucks. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's that big a deal. I just think people on the internet just like to moan and complain and rattle their swords and attack somebody. And right now, Microsoft has made some bad choices, and the hate squad is out with their pitchforks. So I think Microsoft's taking the forefront on this, but I think it's a little too soon because we're not all connected as we'd like. But for the majority of the hardcore gamers, the majority of gamers, they're going to have um, connections. They're going to have their consoles. I mean, I know a lot of people who are gamers who don't have a lot of money, but they sure find enough money to get that internet connection and get those console games. So, I mean, it's going to be an issue. I just don't think it's as big an issue. I think Xbox had better games that they showed. Um, I mean, I like both, but I still like the Xbox a little bit better. All right, have a heavy topic, lots to talk about on all that. I'm going to have a fun time editing it, but let's move on. Okay, so deals of the week. Well, we talked about The Witcher 3 earlier, but the Witcher franchise is 66% off on Steam. Now, we'll add that this is a mature game, so if you're a young one, you better check with your parents first. But you can get pretty much the entire Witcher franchise at 66% off. Links are in the description of the video and the show notes for the podcast version if you're downloading it through your favorite podcast downloader software. Also, Battlefield 3 is $5 right now on Origin. Now, I know Gizmo's going to go, boo, Origin, boo. But it is EA's kind of like online download service, kind of like Steam, Desura, and all the other services. But it's only $5. Battlefield 3 is a great game. I got it at $5 on Origin. It was my first ever Origin purchase because it was Battlefield 3, $5. So here it is again. Again, mature game. Check with your parents. But if you don't have Battlefield 3 and you want to play it, you can't beat the price. I mean, that's an amazing price. All right, last segment before we close. Your questions. Our first question comes from Mikey. What will the crew do if Minecraft becomes unpopular and the vids aren't watched? Will the crew play another game or will quit making YouTube videos? What do you guys think on that one?
Aren't we playing other games already?
Yeah, there's like so many games to play. Like I don't really think Minecraft will really become terribly unpopular.
I mean, eventually, it's going to get to the point where it's not going to have the draw video-wise that it has and has had for a long time. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. As long as Mojang is making content for it and still working with it, which I think they will because it's still selling like crazy, it's going to be popular for a long time. But I think if Minecraft ever does become taboo and people don't watch the videos, we're going to still make videos about all the other games like we do now. We'll just make more of other videos. It may be Starbound that we're playing. Who knows? Maybe we're playing Destiny. Maybe we're playing the new Tom Clancy game or more DayZ. But, I mean, we're going to continue to make videos until either no one watches anything or we just get tired of making them. But I don't see us stopping making videos for a long time.
Nope. I mean, it's just if Minecraft becomes unpopular, just less Minecraft, more other games.
Yep. All right, Cobra 207. What editing program do you guys use? What features do you like and dislike about it? Well, we have two that are being used. Some of the crew, I think like Mario, Alicia, they use Windows Live Movie Maker, which is free and part of Windows. You can download it from Microsoft. Myself, Giz, and Piper use Adobe Premiere Elements, which is a commercial program. It's cheaper than Adobe Premiere, which is very expensive. Elements is kind of like the $100 version, but it's pretty much got everything you'd need for making videos. Both work well. The thing that's I like about Premiere, and you can use Sony Vegas and some of these other programs like Premiere also, but they let you have like multiple layers of audio and video tracks. They give you much more fine-tuning options when it comes to editing. They give you much more options when it comes to special effects if you want to use them, things of that nature. And obviously they let you render the videos or audio into multiple formats, whereas Windows Live Movie Maker, you don't have a lot of options. You can have a main track of audio video, and then you can have like a music track, but that's pretty much it. You can't have a lot of layers, or really any layers besides that. And you pretty much save your movies as Windows media files, and that's it. As for something I don't like about Adobe Premiere Elements, there's still some nagging bugs that cause it to crash every once in a while that they've never fixed through all the recent versions, which kind of annoys me. But I don't really have any major complaints about it. So I don't know if you guys have anything to add on all that.
I used to use Movie Maker, and then obviously I started using the Adobe Premiere Elements. It's definitely a step up from Movie Maker. It definitely gives you a lot more to do. Not really anything that I don't like about it. I'm kind of still learning. I'm learning as I go, really. There's a lot to it, really. So sometimes it feels a bit daunting, but learn as you go, I think. It's definitely a really cool program.
All right, last question. This is by Choco Swirl. Do you think that the Xbox One is getting hated on because the people are just Microsoft haters? Or do you think the people really think the PS4 is going to be better? Now, obviously, Choco's question was before E3. So, kind of more of the mentality leading up to that. I don't think people hate it on the Xbox One versus PS4 until the DRM and the always online stuff started happening, which I think is why we started seeing all the Microsoft Xbox One hate. And I think that kind of pushed people in that direction. But I think obviously after E3, Sony really set themselves apart even further. So I think the hate mainly has just been about some of these really weird policies that Microsoft was choosing for the Xbox One. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, some of the hate is just for the sake of hating things. So
I think there's reasons behind the hate.
For many people, yes, but some people just hate because they can.
Well, I mean, there's definitely Sony fans. I mean, if you look back at the consoles, I mean, go back to PS1. PS1 owned the market. PS2 literally like stomped on it. I mean, the PS2 is the most successful console ever. That thing destroyed everything else. The original Xbox was nowhere near as popular as the PS2. But when the PS3 came out, it was late. Microsoft got the jump with the 360. I think the PS3 has caught up sales-wise to the Xbox 360 at this point. But I mean, I think most people would probably say Xbox 360 is probably has a slight edge in that war. So there's definitely, probably a decent percentage of the market that doesn't like Microsoft because they like the PS3. Those people are going to hate on the Xbox One. But once the Xbox One started really starting to come to light with the DRM and the always online and selling of games, I think a lot of people who might have been on the fence or might have been pro Xbox started hating on it. So Microsoft's got a lot of damage control to do here in coming months, and it'll be interesting to see. They're sticking with their guns right now, but I think they're going to have to make some changes to some of their policies. But we'll see how brave they are. And as always, people complain and moan. You need to talk with your wallet, not with your lips, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, I hate Microsoft," but they're going to go out and buy the Xbox One. Or you hear people say, "I hate EA, they're awful," but they still buy all of EA's games. If you don't like something, don't support it. All right, well, with that, we end episode 9 of the Crewcast. So if you guys want to say goodbye, we will head out.
Bye.
Goodbye, lovely viewers.
Thanks for watching the Crewcast. We hope you tune in again next time. Come back.